Hi, this is Kendall Boyson, professional life and recovery coach, and you're listening to Encouragementology, the practice of instilling hope. Hi there. Thanks for joining me. On this show, we are searching for a balanced life as we aim to find fulfillment beyond the daily grind. All work and no play may have you out of alignment and in a rut. All for you and nothing for them may have you starving your generous nature. Uneven or unstable footing can cause you to struggle to level your intentions for a calmer life that provides more meaning. Feeling out of balance is something many of us face, especially when we get caught up in one aspect of our lives, be it career, family, friends, our spirituality, or personal joy, while neglecting others. But here's the good news. Recognizing this imbalance is the first step to fixing it. Take a step back, breathe, and look at the bigger picture. What areas are thriving and which ones need more love and attention? Let's create a plan to nurture all parts of your life. Maybe it's setting aside time for family dinners, scheduling regular self-care activities, or finding moments for spiritual reflection. Remember, it's all about small, consistent steps to bring harmony and fulfillment back into your life. You've got this. Balance is an even distribution of weight, enabling someone or something to remain upright and steady. It's a condition where different elements are equal or in the correct proportions. Sounds a lot like harmony, right? We often strive to give all aspects of our lives equal effort, but is that really realistic? Not always. Personal seasons bring natural shifts in our goals and outcomes. Sometimes one area needs your undivided attention and everything else has to wait. These are just seasons in your life, and they will course correct if you keep things in perspective. Embrace the ebb and flow and trust that balance will find its way back. Seeing the bigger picture isn't always easy, so have a little patience with yourself. Realizing the need for a better vantage point to accurately evaluate needs versus desires is a crucial step towards finding balance. Take your time, reflect, and be kind to yourself as you navigate this journey. Mick from Inside Out Mastery asks and answers, feeling unfulfilled in life? Here are the 9 common reasons why. Feeling unfulfilled is frustrating. Do you feel like something is missing but struggle to find out what? And even if you discover the missing piece, change never comes easy. Let's cover the common reasons for feeling unfulfilled in life and what you can do about it. The goal is to empower you to take the next step, generate momentum, and feel proud of yourself. So let's dive in. Number 1, unrealistic expectations. It's no secret that technology increased the unrealistic expectations we set for ourselves. It made the entire world your competitive playground, not just your local community. As a result, you never feel good enough. It's easy to find someone better, stronger, richer, more powerful, more successful, and of higher status than you. Comparing yourselves to others is a losing game. And it always was. You feel like you should be at point X, but you're only at point Y. And when your reality doesn't meet your expectations, it leads to frustration. And you will feel unfulfilled. That's also why we look for shortcuts, quick win tactics, and the secret to achieve results fast. But this recipe only leads to more dissatisfaction. So what to do instead? Well, you shouldn't lower your ambition or set easier goals. Striving for big and audacious goals is a good thing. It's great to be ambitious about life and go after your deepest desires. But rather than getting caught up with the current results and outcomes, focus on the process and your personal journey. While setting outcome-oriented goals is okay, your obsessions should be with the process. Looking at short-term success metrics is very common, but it often stifles long-term growth and success, and it leads to more frustration and dissatisfaction. Remember, everyone is on a different journey. So stop creating expectations for yourself based on comparisons or the expectations of others. You are not them, and they are not you. Instead, pick your process and focus on getting better, not the results, if you want to feel fulfilled. Number 2, lacking self-awareness. Mick said, "I feel stuck but struggled to understand why for a long time." In retrospect, the answer was quite clear. A lack of self-awareness was the primary factor that kept me feeling unfulfilled. Here's why. Rather than looking inward and figuring out who I was and what I truly wanted, I looked at external factors. Increasing self-awareness leads to your unique voice and meaningful pursuits. And when you find your authentic path, you'll attract the right people and opportunities. Number 3, not having a vision. Your struggles and challenges seem pointless if there's no cause to provide meaning to your life. And the lack of meaning is a leading cause of feeling unfulfilled. A book I often mention is Man's Search for Meaning. It's about Viktor Frankl, a captured Jew during the Holocaust that worked in several Nazi camps, including Auschwitz. His story is special because while most other captives gave up on life, and let's be honest, who wouldn't, Frankl thrived and experienced more freedom than his captors. How's that possible? Frankl gained inner strength from 2 places. For starters, he hoped to see his wife again one day, and second, to finish his manuscript, which became the book I just mentioned. The takeaway? Finding something to fight for gives meaning to life's inevitable struggles and challenges. He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. That was from Friedrich Nietzsche. Even if you're unsure what to do, having something to move towards is better than not moving at all. After all, action breeds clarity, and you can alter your vision when you gain more self-insights. An effective purpose involves an element of personal fulfillment combined with a component of social contribution. Number 4, your relationship with fear. Do you have dreams or a vision but struggle to move forward? Unfortunately, the system never taught you to unlock your potential. Instead, it sets you up to comply and become an easily replaceable cog in the machine. Stepping outside that machine is scary. However, here's the deal. Fear is what you need to create a life you care about. If you're doing something that scares you and makes you uncomfortable, you're on the right track. Yes, you'll experience setbacks and failures. Yes, you'll experience self-doubt and feel awkward. But pushing through discomfort leads to self-confidence and a more meaningful and fulfilling life. There's no greatness without fear and discomfort. In other words, fear is a good thing. So pursue and overcome your fear instead of avoiding it. Number 5, working as a means to an end. Most people only work for a paycheck. And unsurprisingly, 67% of people are feeling unfulfilled at work. If that sounds like you, that's a problem. After all, work covers a large part of your weekly time and impacts your happiness. What if you find meaning in your work? How would that impact the quality of your life? But how do you find meaningful work? Common advice is to find your passion and quit your job. But while that sounds great, it doesn't work for 99.9% of the population. So instead, here are better ways to stop feeling unfulfilled at work. Become part of a company with a mission that's meaningful to you. What company fights for the change you would like to see? Aim to become the best at what you already do. Continuous self-improvement is a great source of fulfillment. Start a side hustle if you struggle to find fulfillment in your career. Align your career with your values and desires. For example, if you value freedom, seek freelancing opportunities or a remote job. Initiate a project at work or jump on an opportunity and treat it like your baby. There are many ways to feel fulfilled at work. The takeaway is that it's worth finding meaning in your work, even if that comes at a price of a lower paycheck. Number 6, stress, overwhelm, and burnout is why we're feeling unfulfilled. 83% of Americans experience work-related stress. While that may not surprise you, it's a shocking number. Almost everyone experiences or knows someone who experienced burnout, and that's a problem. Although we've gained many productivity tools, it hasn't decreased our workload. Instead, it did the opposite. So what can you do about it? First, find out what your priorities are. Second, communicate how you feel. But here's the final lesson. Whatever it takes, make and keep your priorities your priority. That often comes with sacrifices. Again, self-awareness plays a massive role here. There's no right or wrong approach, but it helps to identify what's most important to you and then prioritize it. Number 7, lacking a sense of belonging. Are you feeling unfulfilled because you lack meaningful relationships? We are social creatures after all. One idea is to figure out what kind of life you want to build and then create relationships that serve that vision. For example, you might like body weight exercises, continuous self-improvement, traveling, and entrepreneurship. And the people you're most drawn to are those who share similar ideas and values. But what's next? How do you develop meaningful relationships or become part of a wider community? The secret is to give without expectation. Often ask others how you can serve them in pursuit of their goals. Shift your focus from getting towards giving, and you'll experience fulfillment and create many new friendships. That's not easy. Most people serve others but expect something in return, and that often leads to frustration, especially when you encounter people who take advantage of your kindness. But when you genuinely serve and provide value to others, the act becomes a great source of fulfillment. Number 8 on why you may not be feeling fulfilled, goal success. When I achieve my goals, then I will finally be happy. Do you hold that belief? If so, you most likely will feel even more unfulfilled when you achieve your goals. The end result is never the source of fulfillment. There's a reason why the most successful entrepreneurs in the world still work harder than the average Joe, and it's not to earn more money. Instead, it's the pursuit itself that provides happiness. Sure, achieving your goal is fun and often allows you to do what you desire, but ultimately, it's the journey that matters, not the destination. Number 9, consumption. Materialism and ever-increasing consumption make capitalism work, but it also enslaves people to their paychecks. The frustration of this conventional system gave birth to unconventional lifestyles like the digital nomad and minimalism. The core ideas? Find the essence of life, that which matters most to you, and ditch everything else. It's a simple but profound idea. What does fulfillment mean to you? And do you spend your money, but also your time and energy in alignment with what satisfies you most? Feeling unfulfilled in life can be frustrating, but understanding the underlying reasons empowers you to make a positive change. So don't forget, comparing yourselves to others leads to dissatisfaction. Instead, focus on continuous self-improvement and seek to provide value without expecting anything in return. Self-awareness is crucial. So, explore yourself and identify your purpose or create a personal mission statement. Seek meaningful work aligned with your core values, desires, and energy to experience career fulfillment. Find fulfillment in the journey, not just in external success like material possessions, and embrace discomfort for real growth. In my 20s, I'm not sure I would have recognized a need for balance. I really loved work. I loved growing professionally, setting stretch goals, and then hitting them. But there's no way to throw yourself into work and maintain a balanced family life. As a result, my children have a lot of memories of me working and traveling. Sure, they're proud of me, but we all feel the time lost. No matter what decade you're in, you can step back and look at your life differently, loosen the hold, and expand the reach. At this stage, asking yourself the right questions can provide clarity and insight. So let's do that. If you have a pen and paper, it's a great time to write down some of these questions, or of course you can always revisit. Number 1, prioritization and time allocation. So here's the first question. Am I dedicating enough time to each important aspect of my life? Career, family, health, hobbies, etc. Am I dedicating enough time to each important aspect? Which areas of my life are receiving too much attention and which are being neglected? Now remember, I said we were taking a step back so that we could look at this from a different vantage point. A lot of times you won't realize that unless you try to pull all those aspects into focus. Number 2, personal fulfillment. What activities or aspects of my life bring me the most joy and satisfaction? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Really considered what activities or aspects bring you the most joy and satisfaction? Many times we could be having something awesome going on in our life. We could be having satisfaction and having joy, and then something interrupts that with something negative, and we forgot everything. So take a moment and focus on joy and satisfaction. Am I making time for the things that genuinely make me happy? Remember that one time we did that? We were so happy. Why was it one time? Number 3, health and well-being. How am I taking care of my physical, emotional, and mental health? How many times do we focus just on the physical, right? Or just on the mental, not realizing it is connected to the physical? Am I getting enough rest, exercise, and healthy nutrition? There is a million plans you can follow, but when it all comes down to it, rest, exercise, and healthy nutrition. Number 4, relationships. Are my relationships with family, friends, and colleagues positive and fulfilling? You might need to take those individually. Am I positive and fulfilled when I'm with my family? How about my friends? What about my colleagues? Do I make enough time for social interactions and nurturing my relationships? Now, social interactions to you might just be out in public, but remember, you can't nurture a relationship or have social interactions if you're not truly connecting with people. You're just being seen, or maybe not even being seen. So just take a look at social interaction. What does that mean to you? Number 5, career and personal growth. Am I satisfied with my career progress and professional growth? So many times we just have a job. We're loyal, we do the work, but we don't step back to see where we are in our career and is there potential for more? Could I move into another position? Have you ever asked your superior, what would it take for me to move into this next stage of my career? And do I feel challenged and motivated by my work? Have you thought about that lately? Is this the end of the road? Or could you make your work more challenging and more motivating? Number 6, stress and burnout. Do I often feel overwhelmed and stressed? Let's think about that because you might have those feelings of overwhelm and stress, but you're not really sure where it's coming from. Is it really coming from work? Is it coming from the type of work or the work environment or the deadline? What steps am I taking to manage stress and prevent burnout? Don't just sit with it and be stuck with it. You have options. Number 7, purpose and goals. Do I have clear short-term and long-term goals for various areas of my life? Now, you may not be a goal setter. That may not come to you maybe so methodically, but you can look down the road. Your short term might be in the next 6 months or by the end of the year, in the first quarter of next year. And your long term could be anywhere from a year, 5, or 10 years. Am I aligning my daily activities with my overall life purpose and goals? Have you ever looked at that to see if they match up? Is what you're doing ever going to get you there? Number 8, flexibility and adaptability. How well do I adapt to changes and unexpected situations in my life? Am I flexible in adjusting my plans and priorities when necessary? Seems like we get comfortable with routine and comfortable with the things that we can control. But how flexible are you? Number 9, self-reflection and growth. Do I regularly take time to reflect on my life and make necessary adjustments? Are you a problem solver? Or are you a problem solver for other people and you put your own life on the back burner? What have I learned about myself recently and how can I apply that knowledge? As we've said, this is a journey. You are going to hit challenges. You are going to have to navigate things that are uncomfortable. But can you take that and apply it in your knowledge bank to help you over the next hump? Number 10, balance and harmony. Do I feel a sense of balance and harmony in my life, or is something off kilter? What small changes can I make to bring more balance and harmony into my daily routine? Again, it will take you stepping back, really looking at your life, looking at it as almost quadrants. What looks like it's overflowing or getting to the top, and what looks depleted? Number 11, fulfillment and meaning. Do I feel fulfilled in my daily life, or is something missing? What steps can I take to add more meaning and fulfillment to my life? What can I do? Reach out to someone. Talk to them. Run some ideas by. I love to brainstorm. So find someone to brainstorm with you. Talk about your life. Let them know what you're doing now. Maybe they would have some ideas as to what you could easily add in to get that extra sense of fulfillment. And number 12, boundaries. Am I setting healthy boundaries to protect my time and energy? Do I know when to say no to avoid overcommitting myself? Maybe if you take a step back and you look at it, you might say, wow, I have really taken on a lot of stuff. I can see where I've spent more time helping others and getting involved in their challenges versus dealing with my own. Sound like you? Reflecting on these questions can help you gain a deeper understanding of where you stand and what adjustments might be needed to achieve a more balanced and fulfilling life. Jack Canfield helps us solve how to find balance in your life. This is found on his website. If you're wondering who Jack Canfield is, well, he's the originator of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. He's taught millions of individuals his modernized formulas for success and has trained and certified over 2,700 students to teach his content and methodologies in 107 countries around the world. So, let me ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at finding balance in your life? How much time and energy do you invest in your relationships, your physical and mental health, your spiritual life, and your sense of community to give back to others? That's what we're trying to solve here today. All of these aspects of your life are just as important as your job or career, and creating a balance between them isn't a selfish act. It is the secret to a happy and fulfilling life. When you neglect key aspects of your life and don't work on maintaining a balance between all the different areas of your life, you will experience more stress and dissatisfaction, often feeling overwhelmed and find it challenging to find the harmony and well-being you crave. Let's first talk about what living a balanced life actually looks like. When we talk about life balance, most people automatically think of work-life balance, the conflict between your free time and the time you devote to your job or career. But living a balanced life is so much more than balancing your work life with your personal life. It's about setting goals and achieving optimal health in all aspects of your life. Relationships, work, money, fitness, physical health, personal fulfillment, and even spiritual happiness. It's not just about how you spend your time. Creating a balanced life means making time for the things you have to do as well as the things you want to do. But it also means taking care of your body and your mental health, and committing to regular exercise, getting enough sleep, and devoting time to becoming a better person and making a positive impact on the world. These things aren't selfish. They are necessary to show up in the world as your best self, which is to everyone's clear benefit. Finding balance in your life is the same as finding balance on your feet. It gives you the stable foundation you need to stand tall and confident while maintaining the flexibility and agility to respond quickly to the events around you. Balance in all areas of your life brings happiness, peace, and contentment, and gives you a better perspective on your experiences. It gives you solid grounding and makes it easier for you to take risks, tackle challenges, and bounce back faster from any setbacks you encounter. Greater balance in your life also helps decrease stress and anxiety, which can negatively impact your well-being and make it harder for you to achieve your desired outcomes in life. The problem is, with the nonstop busyness of modern living, finding the right balance in life is easier said than done. We are barraged by constant challenges from without and within that cause us to focus too much on one aspect of our lives to the detriment of everything else. The first step to finding balance is getting clear on what these challenges are and how best to deal with them. When we think of the things that stand in the way of finding balance in life, our thoughts usually go straight to the external challenges first. By external, I'm talking about those challenges that exist outside of ourselves. The external factors created by the demands of our busy schedule, our home and family, work, school, community, and our extended family as well. So for you, these external challenges to create balance might be the circumstances of your job, the people you live and work with, the traffic on your commute, the price of gasoline, or the evening news. When you're feeling off kilter, it's easy to point to these things first and say, that's why I'm having a hard time finding balance. But if you approach life by pointing to these external factors as the reason for your lack of balance, you ignore your own capacity to change things for the better. For example, if things are going wrong at work, your response might be to spend long hours in the office, sacrificing other areas of your life to make things right in this particular area. But this just leads to more problems. You stop eating healthy, balanced meals and taking care of your body. You don't spend enough time with the people who love you, and your relationships suffer. And you feel so disconnected from society, you're starting to get depressed. So now you have a new batch of challenges to deal with, and dealing with them causes new problems in other areas until it becomes a vicious cycle. That's why, if you focus only on dealing with the external challenges of life, you'll never be able to find the lasting balance you crave. The best place to find balance is within. Just like yogis begin any balancing posture by grounding themselves in awareness of their own internal foundation, cultivating a strong sense of internal stability and rootedness, the best way to achieve work-life balance is to begin by looking within. Because the fact of the matter is, the biggest threats to maintaining balance come from your own mind. I'm talking about the attitudes, beliefs, behaviors, and expectations you have that prevent you from showing up as your best self and being able to create balance in your entire life. Until you deal with these internal challenges, all of your attempts to overcome the external challenges will earn you only a temporary reprieve. So, the best place to start is in your own mind. A daily mindfulness meditation practice can help you become more aware of your thoughts so that you can release the ones that don't serve you and choose instead to think more positive things that allow you to show up in the world in a more positive way. It also helps you cultivate greater mental calm and stillness, which can increase your sense of internal balance and allow you to maintain a more balanced and insightful perspective on everything that's happening in the world. Just be sure that as you work on achieving greater internal balance, you don't neglect other areas of your life. With everything, there must be balance, even the act of finding balance. You don't want to become so self-reflective that you miss out on the experience of living. If you're feeling untethered and struggling to find greater peace and harmony, here are some steps that might help you align your life. Acknowledge and examine where you feel balanced and where you don't. Take some time to really look at your life and explore your own state of mind and how your thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors may be standing in the way of your attempts to create balance. Be honest with yourself and notice the areas that you've been neglecting. The first step in solving the problem is acknowledging it exists and recognizing the impact it's having on your experience. Set SMART goals. Once you're clear on where you're lacking balance, do the necessary work to figure out what you need to do to restore balance in those particular areas. Then set clear, SMART goals that give you a clear path to creating the balance you need. As a reminder, SMART goals are ones that are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Chunk down big goals into small tasks. Once you're clear on your most important goals, chunk them down into bite-sized tasks and make a list of daily, weekly, and monthly tasks that you will need to do in the future to achieve your goals and create balance in all of the areas of your life. Find supportive relationships. Surround yourself with a support system of people who love you and want you to find the happiness you deserve. If you find yourself getting sucked into other people's endless drama or dealing with energy vampires who suck you dry and never seem to give anything back, it's time for you to find a higher caliber of friends and family to spend your quality time with. Take control and say no. It's okay to say no to things. Balance is impossible without clear boundaries defining what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do. We'll learn more about that from Jack in a moment. Create digital downtime. The current online news landscape has a huge impact on how balanced and connected we feel. So, if you're feeling at all depleted or discombobulated and finding it hard to find balance, a great thing to do is unplug and take a digital break so you can replenish your energy and attention reserves and remember what really matters most. Spend time with friends and family. Go for a walk in nature. Read a book to grow your deep understanding of a topic rather than gaining superficial knowledge from the day's headlines. This will help you remain grounded and protected from the endless rage baiting we see online these days. Always put yourself first. Too many people believe that being a good person requires you to always put other people's needs first, but in fact, the opposite is true. By taking care of your needs first, you empower yourself to become a better example and a better caretaker to others. Focus on today. One of the biggest challenges to finding balance is dealing with the overwhelm which seems baked into modern life. If you find yourself constantly feeling anxiety over everything you have to do to achieve your big goals, or even maintain the status quo, my number one stress management tip is to take it one day at a time. The only time you can ever possibly make an impact is right now, at this very moment. Let's learn a little bit more. Saying no is hard, right? Well, for some of us, and for others who have it mastered without guilt and shame, you are an inspiration. Let's listen to Jack Canfield on how to politely say no without hurting feelings. I found this on his YouTube channel. Take a listen.
Hi there. I'm Jack Canfield, co-creator of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series and the author of the Success Principles. And today I'd like to talk to you about how to say no without causing hurt feelings. Do you ever find yourself feeling overwhelmed with too many things to do and not enough time to do them? Well, one of the causes of that is too often saying yes to other people's requests rather than saying no. And the inconvenient truth is that for the most part, you have created your experience of overwhelm, stress, and unhappiness by saying yes when you should have said no to your partner, to your kids, to your parents, your siblings, your friends, your neighbors, your employer, your co-workers, your clients, and the organizations that you belong to, like the PTA, your church, or your book club. What we all have to learn is that in order to be happy and successful in life, you have to be willing to say no to people and to their requests. And you have to be willing to set clear boundaries and hold fast to them. You see, it's been my experience in working with literally hundreds of thousands of people in my workshops and coaching programs that most people are uncomfortable saying no. And therefore they say yes to avoid feeling that discomfort. They're afraid of hurting the other person's feelings. They're also afraid of being judged as not being a kind or caring person. And they're afraid of being told no when they ask for something in the future. Now, I've also discovered over the years that almost always when I say yes to a request, fulfilling it takes much more time and energy than I initially thought it would when I said yes, which led to the overwhelm that I was feeling. Now, because of my success as an author, I often get hundreds of requests in a week. Will you write the foreword to my book? Will you endorse my book? Will you be a guest on my podcast or speak on my summit? Will you give me feedback on my writing? Will you mentor me? Can I come and take you to lunch when I'm in California? Will you write a happy birthday card to my daughter who loves your books? Can I interview you for the book that I'm writing? Will you send me money so I can afford to go to school? And then there are my family members who want my time and my attention. My sister, my brother, my 5 children, my friends, my 12 staff members, all the trainers in my trainer community and the graduates of my trainings, and on it goes. And also literally hundreds of nonprofit organizations asking me for my time and for my money. Now, certainly more than I have time for, especially if I want to have time to meditate, to exercise, to get enough sleep, to write my books, to spend time relaxing and being with my wife, and have time for my closest friends. Now, in order to protect my time to do that, I have to say no to lots and lots of people. And you will have to as well. So here are a couple of important things that can help you be able to do that. First, you have to acknowledge that your needs are just as important as everyone else's needs. You know, in our live in-person Breakthrough to Success seminars, one of the exercises I often have people do is have everyone stand up and go up to people one at a time and say, my name, in my case it's Jack, my name's Jack, and my needs are just as important as your needs. And then the other person responds with, yes, they are, Jack. And they keep doing that with different people for as long as 5 minutes. Now, many people find that really difficult to do at first, but after many repetitions with many of other participants, it gets easier. And at the end of the exercise, I'll have them close their eyes and imagine saying that phrase to their husband or their wife, their kids if they have them, and to their parents. And notice that the statement is not, my needs are more important than your needs, but as important as your needs. Now, my experience is that most people tend to make other people's needs more important than their own needs. And this is especially true for women who've been programmed with this belief that they should do that for centuries. And as you're watching this, you might want to take a few seconds to repeat that phrase to yourself. My needs are just as important as your needs. My needs are just as important as your needs. And again, to say yes to having the time to fulfill your needs, you are going to have to say no to the requests of others. Now, the other thing you're going to have to do is let go of the need for everyone's love and approval. Think of it this way. Every time you agree to do something for someone, you are handing them a rope attached to you in exchange for their approval, a rope with which they can now pull on you. And most often, once you've said yes the first time, they will expect you to do it again and again and again in the future. And many of you are walking around with 20 or 30 ropes attached to you. Now, one of the wisest teachers in the human potential movement is Byron Katie. And if you haven't read her book, Loving What Is, I highly recommend it. And Katie has said, if I had a prayer, it would be this: God, spare me from the desire for love, approval, or appreciation. Amen. And I love that, because if you want to be truly free, you have to give those up. You might want to write her prayer on a large post-it or an index card and put it on your bathroom mirror and your refrigerator so you'll see it as a reminder every day for at least a month. It's a reminder that can change your life. And if you really want to do a deep dive into this topic, I also recommend you read the book, What You Think of Me Is None of My Business by Terry Cole Whitaker. It was a major game changer for me when I read it. Another thing you'll eventually need to give up is allowing someone to make you feel guilty for not meeting their expectations or doing what they want you to do. Because if you allow them to make you feel guilty, they can control you. Parents often do this with statements like, you should feel guilty for not calling your mother twice a week, or saying something like, after all we've done for you. Now, let's look at some ways you can say no that will make it easier for you to say it, and also easier for other people to hear it and accept it. The first one is based on a simple premise that when I'm saying no to you, my no is not against you or your needs or your project, but that my no is for me. It takes the element of rejection out of it. Here's an example. Your project sounds like a really important one, and I wish you great success with it. However, right now, I'm choosing to focus my time or my energy or my money on this instead. Now, the this might be finishing my book, deepening my relationship with my husband, focusing on my children, regaining my health, building my new business, selling my house, and so on. So again, it might sound like, I believe in your project and your mission, and I can see that what you're doing has a lot of value and the potential to make a real difference in the world. However, I'm going to say no to your request because right now, my priorities are dealing with climate change and social justice issues, and I don't have the bandwidth or the capacity or the finances to take on anything else. Or it could be, I appreciate that you need help with taking care of Uncle John, and right now all of our time and money is going into raising our 3 children. I'm not choosing against you, I'm choosing in favor of my own family. Or it might sound like, I'd love to help you by writing a foreword for your book. Sounds like a great book, but right now I'm choosing to spend all of my time completing my own book. Now you get the idea. Now another effective way to say no without it being perceived as a personal rejection is to have a stated policy. So let's say someone wants to borrow your van and you don't want to lend it to them. You simply say, I appreciate your request, but I have a policy. I never lend my van to other people. Now, if they come back with an argument to try to persuade you to say yes, you just say, I totally understand and appreciate that. And my policy is that I never lend my van to anybody. And no matter what they say, you just keep repeating the policy until they get it. Now, I remember once I was driving to the airport listening to an interview with Oprah Winfrey, who's a multi-billionaire, in which she said, "I have a policy. I never lend money to anybody." Simple. It's her policy. And after lots of people never repaying me money I loan to them, I've also adopted that policy. Now, your policy could be, I never work on the weekends, I don't answer phone calls before 10 a.m., or I only make contributions to charitable organizations in December, once I've reviewed all the requests I've received over the year. Or I only support organizations that support and empower women in third world countries. So just get clear about what really matters most to you and stick to it. Now, I have one last suggestion for making sure you say no when you want to. You need to have a way to remind yourself that saying no is an option. Now, here are 3 things I do. The first is I have a sticker on my 2 office phones that says, "Me first," to remind myself, to remember to put myself first and to make my needs a priority. The second is I put the word no in big letters on a Post-it on the side of my desktop computer and also next to the keyboard on my laptop. And the third is that when I was using a paper planning system in the past, I wrote the word no in yellow highlighter in big letters on each calendar page. So when I went to look at my calendar to see if I could schedule something, I would always see the word no to remind me that I could say no to whatever the request for my time was. Now, the other thing I learned to do and that I suggest for you was schedule what I call free time into my calendar. Otherwise, I was always making commitments to others because there were so many spaces on the calendar pages that were blank. I recommend you schedule time for meditation, for exercise, play, date nights, family nights, etc. And then write them into your schedule in your calendar for the whole year, and then guard those times by saying no. That's it for today. I hope this has been helpful.
If you want to share encouragementology with a friend who needs to know they're not alone in this journey of self-discovery, you can visit encouragementology.com or anywhere you stream your content to receive this episode and all others. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram for additional encouragement throughout the week. So I challenge you, take a step back and evaluate the balance in your life. Identify areas that need more attention and make a plan to nurture them. Embrace the journey towards harmony, knowing that small, consistent steps can lead to a more fulfilling and well-rounded life. I know you can do it. Thank you for listening to Encouragementology with Kendall Boyson, where we find positive ways to handle some of life's challenges.
I stumbled through until the path was clear.